Good evening. Good evening. How are you all? Is it raining where you are? We have had our share of rain here in Kentucky. So I hope you are keeping all of us in prayer. The ground saturated, floodings everywhere. But anyway, I hope that, like I said, you're keeping us here in Kentucky in prayer because even tonight we're having more rain and we've had our share of rain. But I'm so glad that you're here with us, with me tonight for you, me, and tea with me. Yes, and we're still discussing, chatting about boundaries. But tonight we're going to talk about boundaries with fences and gates. The fence has a gate. So let's get our quote out of the way. Bren Brown, her name is Bren Brown, she said, clear is kind, unclear is unkind. The more precise you can express your boundaries, the more likely your boundaries will be respected. Let me just say that part, just that little part again. The more precise you can be expressing your boundaries, the more likely your boundaries will be respected. While you may need to repeat yourself a few times, don't feel the need to apologize or explain your boundaries. How about that? You don't need to feel the need to apologize nor explain your boundaries. I like that. Define your limits. What supports your versus what detracts from your well-being? What supports you versus what detracts from your well-being? Openly communicate your boundaries to people in your life. Remind people if needed, but always stick to your boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say no to things that don't serve you, to things that do not serve you. Tonight, let's chat about what it looks like to have a fence with a gate. Boundaries. Remember, we were talking about there's a house on a property, right? Mhm. But tonight, that house on the property has a fence around the perimeter, but it also has a gate. Now, we're going to put something else on the property. You have a dog on the property, and your property has an invisible fence. And I would like to submit that surely if you have a dog and a dog can be trained, that fence around the property, he can only go so far. He can only go so far. Now, the dog may once or twice run up to that fence and get shocked by that invisible fence, right? He eventually realizes that he wants to go on the other side of the fence, but he can only go with you. Why? Because you are the gate. You are the gate. It's your choice who and what you allow to enter, or who or what you escort out. You are the gate. Healthy boundaries are limits you place around your time, emotions, your body, your mental health. It is incumbent upon you to set healthy boundaries around your emotional energy, your time, your personal space, sexuality, moral, and ethics. It's on you. Setting personal boundaries become the root of fulfilled, balanced life. Fulfilled, balanced life. And you don't have to be mean. It doesn't have to look angry. If you know, if you set, if you put that fence up and understand that you are the gate. These boundaries help define what you are willing to say yes to and what you decide to say no to. Boundaries give you sovereignty over your decisions. Boundaries is like an internal compass, that gut feeling that tells you when you have had the time or energy to devote to something versus when you need to say no. Good boundaries can be liberating. Yes, they can be. The community that I'm a part of, Activate Nation, under the leadership of David Burris, he liberated me when he said to me, I can say no, and I don't need to explain my no. I don't need to say I'm sorry, but just no. Are you going out with us tonight? No. And keep moving. Can I come over tonight? No. And it set me free. You know how this, and I was free indeed. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. On the other hand, persons with solid boundaries tend to have lower levels of stress and higher self-esteem because they prioritize their well-being. They prioritize their well-being. On the other hand, people without boundaries may inadvertently let others take advantage of them. You've heard of compassion fatigue, yes? Well, compassion fatigue takes over. And what is that? Compassion fatigue comes from helping others. You want to keep helping, but you're overwhelmed from being exposed to the trauma of others. You look this up and then let it marinate. Like burnout, compassion fatigue is a process. It takes time to develop. It keeps building slowly to a point where you start to not care about yourself or others in your life. Look at, just when you have some free time, Google compassion fatigue. It might be you. As we have discussed, when talking about walls or nothing at all leads to resentment, anger, and burnout. With walls or nothing at all, no boundaries, you can easily be persuaded into something that you do not want to do because you may be acting out of guilt or obligation rather than self-love. Protect yourself from getting taken advantage of. Own your time, self-esteem, and self-respect. Prioritize your time. You only take on responsibilities you can handle and do not overcommit yourself. Boundaries. Authentically say no. If you do not have the energy or capacity to do something, authentically say no. If you do not have the energy or capacity to do something, set limits for others without feeling bad. Set limits for others without feeling bad. Strong sense of identity and direction. Take care of your own problems. Take care of your own problems and understand that you cannot heal other person's issues for them. There's time when you need to stay in your lane. Guard your peace and your joy, as well as what? Your heart. Take care of your own problems and understand that you cannot heal other people's issues for them. Clearly communicate your needs and wants. Prioritize your self-care. Now you know what time it is, don't you? Do you have it close to you? The life book, your Bible. Take a sip of your tea, get your life book, and we're going to do something fun and see if you see the same boundaries that I saw when reading this scripture. You ready? And I'm going to be reading from the Message Bible tonight. Let's go to John 11. Got it? Okay. And it reads as, a man was sick, Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and his sister Martha. This was the same Mary who massaged the Lord's feet with those oils, yes? And then wiped them with her hair. It was her brother Lazarus who was sick. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, Master, the one of you love so very much is sick. Well, when Jesus got the message, he said, the sickness is not fatal. It will become an occasion to show God's glory by glorifying God's Son. The sickness is not fatal. It will become an occasion to show God's glory by glorifying God's Son. So, what's he saying? He didn't feel the need to drop everything and rush back, right? That's a time boundary. Yeah. It says, I will or I can but at my appointed, my designated time. Let's continue to read. Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, but oddly, when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed on where he was for 2 more days. And after the 2 days, he said to his disciples, "Let's go back to Judea." They said, "Rabbi, you can't do that. The Jews are out to kill you, and you're going back?" Jesus replied, "Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Anyone who walks in daylight doesn't stumble, because there's plenty of light from the sun. Walking at night, he might very well stumble, because he can't see where he's going." Now, right there, I detected a mental boundary. And what is a mental boundary? It says, I understand we see the same things differently. We see the same things differently. I respect your opinion, but please do not force it on me. So he had a reason for saying, this is what we're going to do. I respect your opinion, disciples, but this is what we're going to do. Continue. He said these things and then announced, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep. I'm going to wake him up." The disciples said, "Master, if he's going to sleep, he'll get good rest and wake up feeling fine." Jesus was talking about death, while his disciples thought he was talking about taking a nap. Then Jesus became explicit. Lazarus died, and I'm glad for your sake that I wasn't there. You are about to be given new grounds for believing. Now let's go to him. Conversational boundaries. A conversational boundary. This is not a topic that I'm willing to discuss right now. This, whether he's asleep or whether he's, let's go. This is what I see. And that's when Thomas, the one called the twin, said to his companions, "Come along. We might as well die with him." When Jesus finally got there, he found Lazarus already 4 days dead. Bethany was near Jerusalem, only a couple of miles, and many of the Jews were visiting Martha and Mary, sympathizing with them over their brother. Martha heard Jesus was coming and went out to meet him. Mary remained in the house. Martha said, "Master, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Even now, I know that whatever you ask God, he will give you." And Jesus said, "Your brother will be raised up." Martha replied, "I know that he will be raised up in resurrection at the end of time." You don't have to wait for the end. I am right now. resurrection, and life. The one who believes in me, and even though he or she dies, will live. And everyone who lives believing in me does not ultimately die at all. Do you believe this? Yes, Master. All All along I have believed that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who come into the world. After saying this, she went to her sister Mary and whispered in her ear, "The teacher is here, and he is asking for you." Still in that conversational boundaries. The moment she heard that, she jumped up and ran out to him. "Jesus, have you not entered the town, but was still at the place where Martha had met him?" When her sympathizing Jewish friends saw Mary run off, they followed her, thinking she was on her way to the tomb to weep there. Mary came to where Jesus was waiting and fell at his feet, saying, "Master, if you only had been here, my brother would not have died." Now, this one I see as emotional dumping. I understand what you have. I understand that you're having a hard time. That's what you're. I understand that you're having a hard time, and I want to be here for you, but I do not have the emotional capacity to listen right now. Have you ever wanted to say that to someone? I, I, I understand. I understand what you're going through. I just, not right now. When Jesus saw her sobbing, and the Jews were sobbing with her, a deep anger welled up within him, and he said, "Where did you put him?" "Master, come and see," they said. Now Jesus wept. The Jews said, "Look how deeply he loved him." Others among them said, "Well, if he loved him so much, why didn't he do something to keep him from dying? After all, he opened the eyes of a blind man." Right here, comment boundary. A comment boundary says, "I do not appreciate what you just said. I do not appreciate what is being said." The way that they approached him, the way that they said it. Well, if you loved him so much, why didn't you do this? Stop. Then Jesus, the anger again welling up within him, arrived at the tomb. It was a simple cave in the hillside with a slab of stone laying against it. Jesus said, "Remove the stone." The sister of the dead man, Martha, said, "Master, by this time there's a stench. He's been dead for 4 days. He's decaying. He smells bad." Jesus looked into her eyes. "Didn't I tell you that if you believe, you would see the glory of God?" Just a little bit tired. Didn't I tell you that if you believe, you would see the glory of God? Then to the others, "Go ahead, take away the stone." They removed the stone. Jesus raised his eyes to the heavens and prayed, "Father, I am grateful that you have listened to me. I know you always do listen. But on account of this crowd standing here, I've spoken so that they might believe that you sent me." Then he shouted, "Lazarus, come out." And he came out, a cadaver, wrapped from head to toe, with a kerchief over his face. Jesus told them, "Unwrap him and let him loose." Compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue. He came and he wanted to help, but he wanted them to see something. He was overwhelmed, and at the end, he said, "You unwrap him. I've done what I was supposed to do. I've done my assignment. You unwrap him. He's not going to do what you can do." Were you able to see the boundaries? It was interesting, wasn't it? So I want to say thank you. I went over a little bit. Please forgive me. But I wanted you to see that even the Father has boundaries. And if you read it closely, you can see and know what they are. So, thank you so much for sitting with me, for you, me, and Tea with Lady D. We will bring boundaries to a conclusion on Tuesday, so I hope you come back and join me. And if you miss me tonight, you can find me on YouTube. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube as well as Instagram. So I thank you all so much, and I hope you have a marvelous night. Good night.